In this short video, we wanted to meet the artisanal small-scale miners, especially women behind Madagascar gemstones. We traveled to remote areas in the countryside of Antsirabe. We met with Lalau, a 52-year-old woman married to Daisy. She works in agriculture and helps her husband with his mining activities. They mainly mine tourmalines and pink quartz. Then we met this group in which women work alongside with their male counterparts in this artisanal mining site. Even though the Article 6 of Madagascar's constitution states that all individuals have equal rights and enjoy the same fundamental freedoms, protected by law without any discrimination based on sex, education, wealth, origin, religious belief, or opinion, it is important to understand that there are strong stereotypes and traditional customs embedded in Madagascar society, which makes it sometimes challenging to achieve women's empowerment in many areas. However, we were happy to have seen that most men and women interviewed in our project were equally helping and supporting each other in a society that is predominantly patriarchal. Our team also interviewed these families on their daily diets and nutritional habits. Please note that rice is usually the main staple in Madagascar. Most families eat rice up to 3 times a day. According to Madame magazine, the island has one of the highest per capita consumption of rice worldwide, with on average 120 kgs rice per person per year. Thus, Madagascar is in the lead, far in front of typical rice cultivation countries like China, which has an average consumption of only 77 kg per person. We don't eat during the day. Sometimes we eat in the morning, but usually we only drink coffee with sugar. Look at this child, he doesn't have any fat. I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning because kids start school at 7 a.m. I start with making coffee and varsusu. Kids leave at 6 a.m. Main dish is ravimbumang, dried fish, beets. We plant them ourselves, but we buy the dried fish. Every time my husband goes to the city, he brings back dried fish. And if he doesn't go to the city, we make dried fish, beans, and leftovers from the previous night. According to the UNICEF, stunting is a major public health and development concern in Madagascar. Madagascar is the 5th worst affected country in the world. 47% of all children under 5 suffer from stunting, principally in rural areas. Children in the highlands are the most affected by stunting, above 60%. Stunting has a permanent impact on physical growth and intellectual development. We definitely saw dietary issues throughout this interview, mostly due to the access to food and financial constraints. There is family planning here. Have you used any, if I may ask? We used to in the past, but not anymore. I used to go to the hospital every 3 months. We go to the hospital when we give birth. Antsirabe is where the doctors are. It is really tough. Doctors in Ibiti cannot do it here. It has to be done by doctors in Antsirabe. Madagascar ranks as one of the worst countries in terms of child survival and health coverage. Remote rural villages like Ibiti and Sanvuich are even more affected by child mortality due to the lack or poor conditions of local infrastructure. We work in the gemstones, that is our subsistence means. For example, she cleans, she sorts out the gemstones, she makes them clean. bring them to the river? No, we bring water here with buckets and we clean them here. We plant various vegetables, cassava and corn and green leaves, bean, Wansbury. Madam, are you the one cooking? Yes, I always cook. Mr. Daisy, do you cook? No, he doesn't. You can't cook? He can. Polyvalent. So, you help each other with cooking sometimes? Yes, we do. We have to take care of our plantation too. It is hard. It is overwhelming. Based on research, urban population in Madagascar represent roughly 37.9%. However, it is hard to get official numbers for the proportion of women working in mining, especially in the informal sector. According to IT, the informal mining sector employs more than 500,000 people. We believe that these women are doing their best they can to sustain and provide to their families. We can clearly see that the informal sector is a direct result of a lack of economic opportunities for most people and survival. Although progress has been made, there is still a lot that can be done to promote women's empowerment in Madagascar. There are still challenges and problems that need to be overcome so that women can have equal access to work, equal pay, and become more independent. According to the country's recently published IT, the sector accounts for 30% of total exports and 4% of GDP. We believe that it is important to empower women in this sector as they are the motors of their families and have the potential to be a real catalyst for change.